I'm in Kansas City, but you can call me KC.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Televida KC's Alegria en Kansas City. I'm your host, Fabian Shepard. And as you know, on this program, we hope to educate, inspire, and inform you. Today, we want to inform you about some things happening in the southern part of Johnson County, Kansas, more specifically, Olathe. Today, our guest is an individual who spent 38 years in the Department of Corrections, both in Kansas and Johnson County. He is also the immediate past chairman of the Olathe Latino Coalition. Welcome, my guest, Jim Terrones. Hi, Jim.
Hello, Fabian. How are you?
I'm doing very well. Thank you for joining us today.
Well, thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Fantastic. Now let's talk about 38 years with the Department of Corrections. You did the first part with the state of Kansas and then finished your career with Johnson County. Is that how it was?
That is correct. I started, to believe it or not, I wanted to be in law enforcement, and I still do. But over time, I decided, well, I went to the Department of Corrections and spent 18 years with the Kansas Department of Corrections, held a variety of positions from parole, probation, corrections, and even the prison environment. But then after that period, I wanted to do something different, so I went on the juvenile side and spent 20 years with the Johnson County Department of Corrections. And there I served as Deputy Director of the Juvenile Services Division for the Corrections Department.
So we've seen that sort of thing transition quite a bit, and we recently had on this show Kansas Attorney General Derek Schmidt. And one of the things that Derek Schmidt finds important is criminal justice reform. Were you working on any of that during your career?
Well, we certainly follow the Kansas legislature, because when the Kansas legislature changed law, that impacts corrections with regards to maybe inmate incarceration, the length of sentence. So it's different elements that we always have to follow the legislature. But me directly involved in that, no, I have not been. We're there to figure out how to implement the laws that change from Topeka.
Okay, and so you said you played different roles, you wore different hats in your career. When you mentioned the prison system, was that at any specific penitentiary? Were you in Leavenworth or Lansing area?
Well, this is years ago. It was in Topeka where I started my career, and it was called differently now. It's now the women's prison, honestly. But back then it was the Kansas Reception Diagnostic Center and then the Topeka Correctional Facility. Then I also worked at the Lansing Correctional Facility there in Lansing. That was an eye-opener. That's different. When you work in a prison setting, it's a community behind the walls, and you get a different perspective of what it's like to be incarcerated in Kansas.
Mm. Now, and I said Leavenworth, I made a mistake because that's obviously a federal penitentiary. But that one in Topeka, I think I've driven by that. It's east of Topeka, isn't it?
Yes, on 6th Avenue.
Yes, yes, and it's up on a hill, sort of.
Yes.
I've stopped at that Casey's General Store there.
Yes.
So, you said you wanted to be in law enforcement. Ever since you were a child, was that your dream?
Yes, my degree is in criminal justice with a major in police administration, Park University.
So well suited for law enforcement then.
Yes, yes. And I have such a high regard for our men and women in law enforcement with regards to public safety and the fact that they put their lives on the line for us. And that always interests me in investigations, whether it was law enforcement or drug enforcement investigations. But I went to the correction side and didn't look back. But
well, and you met a lot of people in that occupation.
Yes, certainly did. Worked my way up. Started as a correctional officer and wanted to put my degree to work. And I decided that I wanted to apply for different promotional opportunities. And sometimes in corrections, you've got to be willing to move to a different city, a different location to get that promotion or that opportunity. So my corrections career took me to Topeka, to Great Bend, to Garden City, Kansas. Was out there for about 3 years, a great community out there. But we made our way back to eastern part of Kansas and ended up in Olathe.
Okay, Garden City, you can't get, that's pretty far. Did you meet Ronaldo Mesa out there?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
We have a lot of friends out there still in Garden City. It's my understanding it has continued to grow out there in Finney County. I'd like to go back and visit someday.
And so, are you a native Kansan?
Yes, home of Newton, Kansas.
Newton.
North of Wichita.
Sure, yes. Newton, that's between Hutchinson and Salina, isn't it? Is that on 135?
Yes, yes. It's between Wichita and Salina.
Okay, okay. So you finished your career in Johnson County, and you decided to stay. And then I happen to know that you spent some time, this was your sentence, on the Olathe City Council.
Yes, I did. Thanks to former Mayor Michael Copeland, a dear friend of mine and a dear friend to a lot of people from Olathe. If you've met Mayor Copeland or if you haven't, you'll know what I'm talking about if you have met the mayor. He'll make you feel like he's known you forever, that you're best friends. But he had a love and compassion for the city of Olathe. And because of him, and of course the members of the Olathe City Council appointed me to Ward 3 there in Olathe. Tremendous opportunity for me. Enjoyed it, hard work, commitment, and anyone that's run for office knows that's what it takes. But the city staff are wonderful to work with, great staff, hardworking people. Enjoyed my term there on the Olathe City Council. Learned a lot about people, learned a lot about what they care about, and certainly what the issues are.
So, and of course, you're speaking of your dear friend who left us last year, Mayor Mike Copeland, and that was a tragedy for Olathe and for many people in Olathe. Like you said, he was very well liked and loved by that community. So any thoughts of perhaps doing that again, serving on the council again?
I certainly leave the door open. I think once you get a taste of running for public office, you learn a lot, but you know what it's going to take. It's going to take a commitment, hard work, money, and donations, and you have to have a plan. You have to have a lot of volunteers and a plan of how to win if you want that bad. So I've got my eye on a few positions that I have not ready to announce yet.
Okay, well, hey, always leave the door wide open, right?
Yes.
Opportunity knocks, you're ready to go.
Yes.
So one of the things that Mike Copeland did for you is he worked with you on serving the Latino community in Olathe, which is growing very rapidly. It's the broadest and largest Latino community in Johnson County. Can you tell me about your position as past chairman of the Olathe Latino Coalition?
Okay, yes. First of all, I have to recognize that back in 2013, Mayor Copeland wanted to know how to make Olathe a more welcoming community to the Latino population and the immigrant population. And so he put together, asked a group of local leaders there in Olathe from different backgrounds, from different organizations, and helped me do that. So this has been going on since 2013, and it's come a long way. People have come and gone. There's too many people to name to give credit to. The ones that really did the hard work from the beginning to create a plan with some outcomes and a plan of action in certain key areas to help the city move towards that direction, to make Olathe be known for the more welcoming city. I'm pleased to report that Mayor John Bacon has continued that. He's reached out to the Hispanic community, Latino community, and has expressed an interest to continue working with us in that endeavor.
I like going out to Olathe for the Hispanic Heritage Month, which is actually not exactly a month. It's interesting. Hispanic Heritage Month kind of gets ripped off because there's not a whole month, is there? Right. It's like a part of a month and a part of another month.
Yes.
When is Hispanic Heritage Month?
September 15th to October 15th.
Okay, so Hispanic Heritage half months. So I like, you do things at the Mahaffey Farmstead?
Oh, yes. Well, we have done festivals every year until the pandemic hit. And then, of course, we had to basically postpone. I hate to use the word cancel, but it would postpone. So unfortunately, we had to cancel all events, but we have a month-long of activities that's supported by the city. And that's where chairs before me had that responsibility to ensure that events like that took place and was planned out well. We had great participation. We have good partnerships there in Olathe from the law enforcement community, our fire department, El Centro, the Olathe School District, Olathe Medical Center, and Center of Grace. I don't want to leave anybody out. So we had good partnerships. Oh, the Olathe Library, I've got to remember them, helped us plan those events. So when I became chair, it was somewhat easy to come in and just pick up where the group left off. So we had great support from the community, and it continues today.
So when you say support from the city, do they offer you financial support too to take care of things?
There is a limited budget, but we do have access to some funds. That just gives you an indication how invested the city is.
Oh yeah, if they're going to put their money where their mouth is, that says a lot.
And of course, we ask for sponsors, and we get donations as well.
From the business community?
Yes, to ensure that happens. So we have to do some work.
So what's the reception been like from the community for those events? I know that I appreciate it, but what about the migrant Latino community there in Olathe? Do you get a lot of participation?
We do, but it's always a task to encourage people to participate. Don't be afraid not to be involved in your community. This was put on to educate, to show how welcoming the city of Olathe is. We have different booths with information on what's going on in Olathe, what service providers can help you with. But overall, our participation has been good, but there's always, could do better.
Sure.
Always
and
hope for
we're gonna touch more on that when we come back. We're gonna go to break now, and then when we come back, we will have more with our friend Jim Terrones, past chair of the Olathe Latino Coalition.
Why did the onion cry? I don't know. Why did the onion cry? 'Cause he cut himself. I've got one. Why was the Cyclops such a good teacher? I don't know. Why was the Cyclops such a good teacher? Because he only had one pupil.
Hey, welcome back to Alegria in Kansas City. I'm your host, Fabian Shepard, and today we're visiting with our friend Jim Terrones, former Olathe City Council member and immediate past chair of the Olathe Latino Coalition. He's going to tell us a little bit more about some of the transitions they've had recently. Now, Jim, since Mayor Copeland's passing, we've had some changes to the organization and to its mission. It seemed to have broadened. It's gotten more of a broader scope, I would say, and the intended reach in that vision is not just Olathe now, is it?
That's correct.
Can you tell me what your goal is now and what your vision is for the organization?
Well, since 2013, the organization has changed. So has the dynamics in Olathe, so has the people changed. So we felt like, as the Olathe Latino Coalition, we needed to change. It was time. You may say that we outgrew the plan. We needed to do something. So as an organization, we did change. In fact, a new board of directors has been named, and we now are a 501c3 unit, and we changed the name. We're no longer Olathe Latino Coalition, we're Bienvenidos KC Incorporated. We have a website, we have bylaws, policies, and procedures, all the things that's required by the Secretary of State's office to get that 501c3 status. And now we are working as a board to reorganize, regroup, make some decisions that needed to be made to change the organization. But overall, we want to continue the events that the Olathe Latino Coalition did. Our focus is more broader, as you indicated earlier. It's the KC metro area. Over the years, we were getting requests from people outside Olathe, well, how can we get involved? We wish we had an organization like yours in our community. So after hearing that over a period of time, we decided we needed to change. We needed to go metro. So to get our organization to grow, long-term, look at the long-term situation. As chairmen come and go, as committee members, board members come and go, you want to be concerned about continuing that growth and that focus on what we're trying to accomplish. But we're continuing with festivals. We're going to continue recognizing our organization with our awards, our receptions, moving in that direction. We're just not there yet. Unfortunately, when the pandemic hit, we quit meeting face-to-face. The board continues to meet virtually.
I see. So when you talked about the board, though, is the board the central concentration of that board leadership from Olathe still?
No, actually, they come from Kansas City, Missouri, metro-wide.
Okay, okay.
It's not just Johnson County anymore. That was one of the goals when the committee changed.
Is it a large board?
There is probably, I want to say there's 10 of us right now.
Okay. And so there's equal representation from both sides of the state line?
Yes, and unfortunately, with any organization, people get promoted, they get a change in their life, and they've gone. So I want to step back and say there's 8 of us.
Okay, because of attrition through...
Correct.
Yeah, okay, relocation.
Correct.
So what are some of the events that we can expect from Bienvenidos KC this summer and this fall?
Well, we want to focus on educating the community. What's important to them? Having open meetings, have town hall meetings, and talk about what are the issues. Instead of, as a board, deciding what we think the issues are, we need to go and talk to people. Have our website, our Facebook page, and how to reach out and to communicate. So we need to do our homework and not just assume what people want to see and hear and be involved in. Because frankly, we live in a good area where there's already a lot of festivals, as you know. There's a lot of events, and particularly as the summer months come upon us, different celebrations, celebrating different cultures. We want to be involved in some of that, but we want to focus more on leadership. We want to focus more on how to be civically engaged in your community, and how to educate yourself, and how to not be afraid, if you will, to reach out to your elected officials. And by that, I mean your county sheriff, your chief of police, your county commissioner, your city council, and of course your state elected officials. And we want to also provide training in regards to that, how to do that. And we've partnered with the Kansas Leadership Center in Wichita.
Sure.
And we continue those conversations, and we continue to encourage people to be involved in that leadership training.
Okay. Well, I wanna take a close look at that. Having been a city council member and a politician, are you going to invite some of those folks to come and address your group, your organization, put on events with the legislature? Or because on both sides of the state line, obviously on the Kansas side, you're much closer to Topeka, but on the Missouri side, it's a little bit more of a jaunt to Jefferson City.
Yes, yes. Yes, we have already had, before our name change, we've already had a number of elected officials come and speak with us and learn from each other what are some of the issues, what are some of the concerns that we have with regards to what we feel needs to occur, because Johnson County in particular, and Wyandotte County and our surrounding communities continue to be diverse, and that diversity grows. We want more elected officials to, including the school districts, to consider and to look at, and with regards to who they're hiring practices, if you will, with regards to minority applications. I know they do a good job in trying to get the best, and we are fine with that, get the most qualified, but also look at how they can also hire individuals from the minority background. And we think that is an issue that we have brought up with regards to our meeting with our elected officials as well.
Now, have you met with the county government in Johnson County?
Yes, we have a good working relationship with Chairman Eilert and all the Board of County Commissioners, and we've had a number of meetings with the board as well. And one of the areas that we've talked with our elected officials on the Johnson County Commission is our diversity. How can we be more diverse? How, rather than celebrating all the time our diverse community, how can we really be more involved in county government? And how can we get our youth more involved in being involved in the city and county government? So we have ongoing discussions on how we can do that. So we're really hopeful and excited about that.
Okay, and as you may know, we have plans to have Chairman Eilert on this program as well. So this gives me something to kind of prod him and say, hey, where are you with this?
Good. Thank you for doing that'll help.
And I believe we have County Manager Penny Postoke Ferguson scheduled to join us on this program also. So,
yes, Penny.
She's been a good resource for you, hasn't she?
Absolutely. Penny has been with us from the get-go, even before she was acting county manager. Of course, now she's a county manager.
Oh, and Penny's running the show now, isn't she?
Yes.
She's got the big boy pants on.
Yeah. She's very knowledgeable, and she knows what our issues are. So we are planning on hopefully meeting with her soon to continue the conversation.
Oh, that's so good. Yeah, that was a good hire. I was proud of our Board of County Commissioners with that hire. When they talked about doing a national search, and I'm going, you got your girl right here. You know, she's Penny's a rock star, I'd say. So you've got these events planned. You're going to continue as far as we've seen with the Olathe Latino Coalition in that same vein, only you've crossed over to the other side of the metro to Missouri, and you've expanded your board. Anything else, any other unique things that we should expect out of this Bienvenidos KC that we didn't get from the Olathe Latino Coalition?
Well, we're exploring our different options, as now that we have broadened our focus, we need to lean more on our key board members and their contacts. So we still have a ways to go. We have some work to do. Being a new organization, if you will, with the name change in 501c3, there are certain committees and possibly subcommittees that still need to be formed. And of course, reach out to our Olathe sponsors and our Olathe connections too, because we're not saying we're not in Olathe, because we are. Mm-hmm. But we need to broaden our focus and work harder now that we've got some issues settled, and now that we hope that the pandemic is starting to ease up, we can now go out and maybe meet more frequently face-to-face versus on virtually or not meeting at all.
Sure. I mean, I know that the Board of County Commissioners is meeting in person. Several of the city councils are meeting in person, and the library board is meeting in person tomorrow. So I'm not sure what the concerns are. Maybe, you know, sometimes people like to err on the side of caution, but I'm looking forward to attending one of your meetings and you know, being privy to the discussion. So, Jim, is there anything else you want us to know, what you want the audience to know before we go out from this episode?
I would say yes. It is critical that, not that you aren't already, but to be civically engaged. I know everybody's busy with work and commitment with family and whatever other items that you need to focus on in your life, but definitely become civically engaged if you can. It is critical now more than ever to be involved in knowing what your elected officials are talking about, how they are voting, and get to know them, because I think most elected officials expect that. They expect to be held accountable. So that would be my main comment with regards to your question at this point.
Okay, and is there a number that folks can get a hold of Bienvenidos KC if they have any questions, or a website?
Our website, yes. We're on Facebook. It's Bienvenidos KC, and that is our website. I don't believe we have a phone number yet.
Okay, but bienvenidoskc.org,
Yes.
incorporated.org.
Yes.
And then you're also on Facebook.
Yes.
Bienvenidoskc.org. Well, Jim, I want to thank you so much for informing our audience, and I look forward to your organization's growth beyond Olathe and across the entire metro area. Once again, we would like to thank our guest, Jim Terrones, former Olathe City Council member and past chair of the Olathe Latino Coalition, now a board member of Bienvenidos KC. We hope to see you next time here on Alegria in Kansas City, brought to you by Televida, a production of EXO Films.